Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing? It's your girl JoJo, and I'm here with a review for Put a Ring on It, Season 2, Episode 6. I hope you guys are doing well. I don't know if I already said that. Just FYI, I didn't take any notes for this review. I actually just watched the show. I am supposed to be on a schedule of waking up early and doing my videos. Y'all, I talked a good game last week. I didn't do none of that. Just life. It's because these shows come on the weekend. And on the weekend, I am truly, truly living my life. I am not thinking about these shows. I am not trying to do reviews, even though I know I have to do the reviews because, that's the reviews that work well for my channel. So I understand that I need to do them, but I just hate that it comes on a Friday night because I like for my weekends to be free and uninterrupted. Even if I just want to lay around the house, I don't want to have to think about doing a review. But hey, I ain't complaining because I love y'all. I'm complaining to own the night that they put these shows on. So I didn't take any notes, but I did just watch it, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. And then I'm gonna get on the elliptical while I watch Love and Marriage Huntsville to do my next review, and I might not take any notes for that either. But y'all know Love and Marriage Huntsville. It's always the same stuff going on all the time. So let's talk about Put a Ring on It. So what couple do we want to start with? I want to start with Jessica and Eric just because their stuff wasn't really heavy this week. So Jessica does go out on another date with the guy who was the realtor. And the realtor to me has like Google eyes for Jessica. Like, he thinks she's so beautiful, and he says she's beautiful inside and out, and I can see it, and when you know, and he's really starting to like her. And all of this is a shock for Jessica. She did not know that he was going to like her this much. She was not prepared for that, but she is noticing and she's feeling him. Notice that she doesn't say she likes him the same. But definitely he likes her a lot. My problem with realtor guy, which I'm sure he's a sweetheart. He seems like a sweetheart. Realtor guy kept telling Jessica that he sees something deep down in her internally on the inside that's so different. You don't meet women like that these days. What, pretty? Jessica is pretty. To me, there was nothing about her deep and internal unless they've had some private conversations that he needed to be seeing all that strongly. As a matter of fact, Jessica, even when she speaks to him, is very like surface level, like, oh, you see real down deep, huh? Like internally, you see what's going on. I'm just looking at them like, bruh, you don't see that she's being nice to you, but she really is not feeling you like that. And I just think he is Google Gaga over how she looks, honestly. I think that's the main thing. But maybe they've had personal conversations and it could be more. Eric goes on another date as well with the girl who was, where did they say she was from? Is she Trinidadian? I always say it wrong. I think she's from Trinidad. But she has an accent and, nice body. Nice cute little complexion. She's got the hair and the baby hair. That is his type. I too think he is enamored by her beauty. I don't think he sees anything special with her. They have a cute little date. They play volleyball. They sit down and have some food together. There's a lot of flirtation. He, again, is very smitten by the way she looks and her presence. And when they do get to Dr. Nicole and they talk later, Dr. Nicole makes some really good points about how the two of them mirror each other when they have their dealings, when they have their conversations with one another. But it's interesting because as they mirror one another, they never seem to see the things that they do to their partner. They only see where their partner is wrong, even though they both do some of the same things. They also talk about their communication. Eric says that he would like for Jessica to bring some of that communication she had with bruh, bring some of that home. Because I want you to communicate with me. And Jessica says, yes, you want me to communicate, but you want to interrogate me. Asking her about her date, what they was doing, how they was doing this. Meanwhile, I do believe he was feeding somebody on his date. Okay, but we're going to move on. And Dr. Nicole asks if him asking all those questions are rooted in some type of guilt or anything that he might be experiencing. Eric doesn't know if he sees it exactly that way. He's willing to kind of see Dr. Nicole's point. What I do like about this show, and I don't know if it's because men have like more of a logical wiring, but it often seems like when Dr. Nicole says something or when Dr. Spirit even would say stuff other than Benzino, they would be more willing to kind of see what she was talking about. Doesn't always mean they necessarily do it, but in the moment they seem to be kind of willing to explore more of what she's saying, versus like shutting down or anything like that. So I do kind of like that about the show. She's able to convey things to them really well. But he was just like, maybe I'm willing to explore the fact that I can sometimes get a little jealous when it comes to Jessica, and I could probably work on that a little bit more. What I do want Eric to work on, you guys, in all seriousness, I want him to let that hair go. Every time I see the top of that head, I just be like, Eric, let it go, baby. Let it go. You got a nice little face. I'm pretty sure you got a nice little shaped head. Let that hair grow your beard out, and stop holding on to it. It's like a shadow from here all the way to right here, and then it gets full. Or bring your hair up from the back, get the plugs. Bring the hair from the back, the follicles, bring it up to the front. Now something got to be done. I'm not baby. Just let it go. Let it go. It makes you look older when you don't let it go, actually, if you're going for the young look. But him and Jessica seem to have issues with communication. There's definitely some issues there with trust. I don't see a lot of substance in their relationship. It might be some, and the show doesn't do a good job of showing it, but I just see that both of them are really focused on appearances when it comes to dating in general and when it comes to dating each other. I do believe that Jessica does want to be there for him in another way or in a stronger way, but I don't really know if she is able to do that in the way that Eric needs, nor do I believe that she is able to properly convey to Eric what she really wants out of this relationship. So you guys can let me know what you thought there. Let's move forward. Next couple is LaRonda and Sean. Child, if cut the tension with a knife was a situation, LaRonda and Sean get together to have a conversation. And LaRonda, again, you guys, I have a type. Obviously, I have no type when it comes to men. But when it comes to women, if I was a bisexual woman, I believe I would have a type. LaRonda would be the type, and the girl that Sean went on the date with would be the type. So LaRonda is talking to Sean because they also have a problem with communication. Sean says one of the issues that he has with LaRonda, LaRonda's impulsive. LaRonda also travels with a travel group, not travels with them, but she works with a travel group. She's in sales. And the impulsivity combined with her work has been an issue for them. So she just got back recently from a trip to Morocco. Now, I want to say, because some people were getting us confused, the trip to Morocco was not a surprise for Sean. What was a surprise for Sean were the brothers that were in the room on the trip to Morocco with LaRonda. So LaRonda panned her phone camera around and said, say hey to everybody. And he sees these gentlemen sitting in her room. And he just like, I don't know these brothers. I don't know why they sitting in your room. I didn't know they was going to be on the trip. So that was a problem for him. And I think it's fair. I think that would be a problem for a lot of guys. I don't think my man would be comfortable with two guys being in, I guess it was her hotel room, hanging out in there. We pre-gaming and whatnot. I'm sure he would probably be like, okay, who is these men in your room? So I get that. When you add in the fact, I don't think that would have been that much of a problem if you didn't have to add in the fact that LaRonda also goes out after work and she doesn't check in. LaRonda just don't feel the need to check in, you guys. I too had a problem with this. It was not because I didn't care or anything like that. It's because in my head, I was used to, I've lived with friends before. And I've lived by myself before. So I was literally used to living by myself. I was used to living with my friends. Even my friends would comment like, girl, sometimes we don't know where you at. It's 11 o'clock at night. You could be anywhere. And I had to learn that it is good to check in with people. I'll be moving to the beat of my own drum. I don't got no children to get home to. So if after work, I might go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, the trifecta. Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Ross. I done got off work at 5 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. I done rolled up in the house with some doggone bed in the bags and pillows and groceries. It's just like, where you been? You ain't think to call nobody. You been out all evening. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I used to be bad about that. But then I realized Now with Sean, I think it's a trust issue. I think it's a way of possibly, I think he does have some issues with trust. He doesn't trust himself and he doesn't trust LaRonda. But with most people, it's just I need to know where you are so that I can make sure you're okay. So LaRonda, you do got to check in. You do got to let him know. She said she always let him know. Sean said always. And she was like, more often than not. I said, well, then not always, LaRonda. Not always, girl. So you do got to kind of let people know. I'm sure that's difficult when you're dealing with somebody. See, Sean strikes me as more of a homebody, and LaRonda actually strikes me as more of a person that likes to be out. That can get very difficult in your relationship dynamic if you the type that's just be like, oh, girl, you want to go get something to drink? Okay, cool. Next thing you know, you at the bar, 7 o'clock, you be like, oh, snap, I forgot to let Sean know. Oh my gosh, and it's even harder, if you guys aren't together in the same home. You really not think about it. So it's just something you got to work out in your relationship. Now, as far as what else is going on with Sean, because we're going to talk more about his trust later. The way they communicate in general, LaRonda is very much, if I got something to say, I'm going to say it right now. Sean likes to kind of let it marinate and talk about it a little bit later. But, LaRonda immediately offs her points. Now, to me, that's a personality thing. It doesn't take me long to get my thoughts together. It doesn't take me long to explain how I feel. So when I feel a certain type of way, I can lay it out for you real plain. It doesn't take me 2 days to think about what I need to say to you. I have been in a relationship with somebody who does not process their feelings as quickly as I do, and they do have to take some time. Sean also says sometimes he gets scared to speak up when it comes to LaRonda, and he's like just staying quiet because he doesn't really know. I guess he doesn't want to set her off, or he doesn't want to make it worse. And it frustrates LaRonda because I say what I need to say to you, and you tell me I need to be honest. When I hold back, you will say, I need to talk to you. I need to be honest. But then when I give you honesty, you can't handle it. That also, I think that is I think that's something that needs to be explored, Sean. Now, do you want the woman to tell you things and be honest with you? And if so, you are in control in how you handle that. I remember Iyanla used to always say, whenever the parent and the child would talk, I know this isn't a parent-child dynamic, but even a husband and wife, if you want honesty from the spouse, you have to be in control of yourself when you receive that information from them. So if when you receive the information from her, you begin to question or you begin to accuse, or, you may act out of character, like if that's what she's always going to get when she does try to tell you something, then she's going to start holding back, and then you're not going to feel comfortable because you're going to feel her holding back and think she's lying, or think she's lying by omission, and then that's going to put you on eggshells. So I think both of them just need to work out kind of their reactions to things, how they react to one another. LaRonda with making sure that she checks in a little bit more, and Sean with making sure that he's ready to receive the information that he's always asking for. And make sure you're asking for those things out of concern for your relationship, and not out of control, and not because you don't trust a person. Because if you don't trust a person, then you shouldn't be with them. And if you don't trust yourself, then you need to go to therapy. We'll get to that. Let's move forward. Alexia and Darren. Now, y'all, I'm getting older. I got to keep my blood pressure down. Okay? I have to keep my blood pressure down. So last week when I was talking about Darian, I apologize. I was yelling. I'm going to try not to yell this time around, but I can't make any promises because Alexia and Darian have been in this thing 13 years too long. It's a 14-year relationship. I imagine she should have been done after year 1. Let's talk about it. So Alexia does go out on another date. I thought the date was real nice. Thought they had a great time. Almost was a little hiccup when he said he do music for a hobby. He used to do a little music on the side, and she was just like, oh, my dude do music. And he was just like, oh, really? But it was okay. Everything worked out well. But he likes Alexia. He thinks that, Darian is crazy to let this one slip through his fingers. But they actually have a really good energy, a really good vibe. And I love it every time she says, I don't want to talk about him. Good. Make it about your date. So they actually had a really good date. Now, when we move forward with Darian and her, They actually do end up going on a date, but I'm sorry. Y'all know this old memory. I told you I didn't take any notes. Before that, Alexia went to talk to Dr. Nicole because she says that she doesn't feel heard by Darian. He pretty much talks over her, doesn't give her a chance to talk, doesn't give her a chance to express herself. Everything is about what Darian wants and what Darian needs and what Darian's going to get. And you know what? Another thing, y'all, this is a side note. It must be awful cold in that house because every time Dr. Nicole come in, she walks downstairs. So I guess they have a basement. And Alexia always looked like she just got done being wrapped up in 3 or 4 blankets. But anyway, Dr. Nicole tells her that it's very important that she finds herself in this relationship. And baby, if that statement right there alone wasn't very telling, you need to find your voice in this relationship. Alexia needs to find her voice, period. In the relationship with Darian and the relationship in her own heart. Let me calm down. I'm yelling. Let's go. So she tells her that you need to find your voice in this relationship. You need to be able to speak up for yourself in this relationship. The next conversation that you have with Darian, you need to be able to convey to Darian what you need. Do not let it be all about him. It's not just one person in this relationship. Find your voice so that you can tell him what you need and then he can answer it. That's the best thing about telling somebody what you need. You give them the opportunity to give it to you. Because if you sit in silence, child, you're going to be miserable and you're going to be mad at him and he don't even know why. So you got to be able to voice what you need. And so that's what Dr. Nicole is trying to get her to do. She begins to cry, talking about what has gone on in their relationship, how he's had these three children and pretty much will tell her she doesn't have the right to feel any type of way because they were broken up. So again, another example of her not really having a voice, not really being allowed to speak how she feels in a situation. Then, y'all, this is what broke my heart, but also made me mad. Alexia says, I was with him and these things were going on and I blame myself. I started to think to myself, you overseas, you playing ball, you really not giving this relationship a chance. And that was the year I retired. Y'all. There were so many things wrong with Alexia's confessionals this week. For her to say, for you to give up something you love, for something that you have been pursuing with somebody else, I said all of this is wrong. And my sis is out of order. So I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it with love. Not only do I think Alexia doesn't need to be with Darian, I don't think Alexia needs to be with anybody else but herself. I think she needs to take 6 months to a year to be alone. I understand her biological clock is ticking. I understand she wants to move on with her life and her happiness. But it makes no sense for her to move on if she does not realize the importance of loving herself, having worth in herself before she gives birth to children. There are so many people in this world birthing children, trying to raise up legacies and teaching them the same lack of love and self-respect that they have for themselves. They're putting it right off on their children. It's just not a good look. So I think it would be more important for her to heal before she got into a relationship with anybody else. And the healing is going to be ongoing. It's going to take Alexia more than the 6 months to a year. But at least I think she will be at the right starting point. And guys, I know I talk a good game on this channel. Like, oh, JoJo did this and JoJo didn't have none of this together. It took me a long time to find a love for myself. And I still work on it, baby. I got a notebook that sits around here every other day. I'm always working on it because I realized how important it was. And I realized that a lot of the moves and the decisions I made is because I had abandonment issues. I had a lack of love for myself. It was something that was assumed that I had, but it wasn't really taught. I think my family assumed, of course she loves herself, right? That's not something I got to teach her. That's not something we got to talk about. Of course she does. No, she didn't. And it was a progress and it was a work and it took many years and I still work on it because I have to make sure I don't lose it. And the thing about having it that is so important is that when you express the love to yourself, when you give yourself what you would need in a relationship, when you give that to you and that inner child that may have been left or abandoned or whatever. See, now I'm getting into the whole therapy of the thing. But when you give yourself that and when you pretty much become the partner to yourself that you would want to find in somebody else. When the partner shows up, you recognize it immediately because it's like a mirror reflection. It's like, this is it. This is it. All the things that I give to myself, all the worth that I have in myself, all the ways that I treat myself, I'm finding somebody now who wants to treat me that way, and then I can give it right back to them in return because I got it. I have it. I have it inside of me. I use it on me. So I know that I have it to give to another person. And then y'all constantly are just filling each other's cups. And it works. And it feels good. It has its moments, but it feels good. But it takes time and it takes work. And a lot of people just don't want to do it because it is lonely. All right, I'm not going to sit here and hold you. It is lonely. It does feel bad. It does take a long time. You do start to feel like you're missing out. You do start seeing things pass you by that you want. But the work, to me, in my opinion, is worth it. And in order for me to be the best JoJo that I can be, the best JoJo as a wife, a mother, a girlfriend, whatever it is that I aspire to be, I got to be that internally to myself and for myself first. And I think Alexia needs that. When I saw her, the look on her face, she barely had any tears to cry. The girl is almost getting numb. And it's sad to watch. But unfortunately, this is the bed that she does have to lay in, and she's been laying in it for a very long time. But she can choose to get out, but she has to make the decision. And so many people don't want to make the decision. It's easier to point fingers. It's easier to not do the work. It's easier to say, and child, this is the world that we're living in YouTube right now, and just in general, it's easier to put your focus out on the opposite end, on the opposite party, instead of saying, you know what, I don't really care what they're doing with to them. Let me go ahead and focus on myself and the love that I have for me, and know that when that right thing shows up and comes along, I will know it immediately. And when it's the wrong thing, I will also know so immediately. We're in a time right now where people are going to be getting ill advice and ill teas, and where people are going to be focused on the superficial things, instead of focusing on their internal work. And then what's going to happen is, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I don't want it to happen, but mark my words, I would not be surprised if the divorce rate shoot up even higher, because instead of focusing on internal work and healing and then coming together, people are coming together for superficial reasons and then wondering why it goes awry. But all hope is not lost. Nope, all hope is not lost, because thanks to, I'm going to say, the millennials, Gen Z, hold on, relax Gen Z. I don't even think I have Gen Z listeners, but I will say that I can remember in college, shortly after college, and as a grown woman, us just talking about working on ourselves. People were talking about getting therapy. People were talking about having long-standing problems with their parents. And people were in the beginning discussions of doing their work. Like, we didn't really know how to do it, but we knew something was a little bit off. We did know that much. I knew that about myself probably around 17. I knew that I had some ways about me that were not necessarily the best. I just didn't really know how to change them, or what I needed to do to change them. But I knew it. I knew it about myself. And so now we've kind of ushered that in about getting your help, doing your work, so that you can show up a whole person to, if you do decide to be in a relationship. And it's been great. And sometimes you won't even decide to be in a relationship, child. Your peace will feel so good, you don't want anybody to disturb it. And I just think it's awesome that it's been ushered in, and I see Gen Z, going out doing their work at very young ages, and it's just great. And I'm hoping that it's gonna be the change that we wish to see. Of course, there'll be a lot of young people that'll get caught up in the superficial foolishness and not doing their work, and having people think to themselves it's not important to do your work. It doesn't matter. These are the things that matter, but all of it as a whole matters. You have to be a whole person, not just half. And so there'll be some that'll get caught up, but there'll be a lot of us that won't. So I ain't lost hope yet, but sometimes I'll be looking around like, none of this is gonna end well. But y'all, I done rambled. I'm done, really. Once we move on, her and Darian, they go on a date, and Darian just says all the right things. He says he's gonna, close up the condo. That's what Alexia's been wanting. So she eats that up, and I'm just like, Alexia, one good conversation does not mean Darian has changed. That is still the same person. It doesn't take much for him to light her up, which just lets me know it's the bare minimum going on in that house. So when they get to the formal meeting and get back together, you know, Alexia believes that they're good, that things are well. And honey, the way that everybody looking at each other around the room, they knew the tea before we knew the tea. And the tea is Darian and Kai had something going on that extended beyond just going on dates. Now I'm really hoping it's not true, but I believe it's true. I think it's true. And that would explain Kai's energy from the last episode. So you guys, I feel like I just did a lot of talking. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about Alexia and Darian. Alexia, baby, you got to do the work. I know it hurts, but you just got to. You got to. You can't stay in this place. It's not gonna work. Leave that man. Leave that man. He doesn't want it with you. He doesn't respect you. And we're gonna talk more about Darian next week, because I feel like that's where the bulk of my thoughts are. One more thing. Okay, so LaRonda, real quick. LaRonda and Sean brings up the fact that he chooses LaRonda. Yeah, he went on another date. Old girl was pretty. Old girl was cute. He not trying to play with fire again. He chooses LaRonda. And Dr. Nicole's problem with this is that you don't even give yourself an opportunity to do anything out of fear that something's going to happen. So if you keep handling things like that, how do you know that when something goes awry or when you're feeling some type of way that you're going to continue to choose LaRonda? Or if you're just choosing LaRonda out of fear of what you might do, right? Do you really choose her is what Nicole is trying to get him to get to. I don't think Sean's getting it right now, but I'm hoping that he will. It's not bad that he chooses LaRonda as long as he knows that nobody else out there can distract him from LaRonda. And I don't think he knows that. But that's really it, y'all. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. See you for the next one. Bye.